So, we often feel like life's patterns are just, well, random, don't we?
Yeah, it can definitely seem that way sometimes.
But what if there's actually a precise kind of hidden geometry to it all, like a structural blueprint underneath?
A blueprint. I like that.
If you're someone who already understands, the language of the stars, there are many ways to run a chart, loads of them.
Absolutely. Different schools, different techniques.
But today, we're diving into a really fascinating corner of the astrological world. It's called Uranian Astrology, or sometimes the Hamburg School.
Right.
And it's this unique geometry-first approach. Kind of challenges conventional thinking, doesn't it?
It really does. And this exploration, it's all about uncovering how Uranian astrology really zeroes in on those clean structural patterns.
Okay.
It focuses, intensely on things like midpoints and what they call hard aspects.
Midpoints and art aspects,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. And the mission here, it's not just about learning some new technique, right? It's about discovering how this approach can offer a truly predictive lens.
Predictive. How so?
Well, imagine pinpointing specific moments when, say, a transformative vitality might surge in your life,
Yeah.
and then being able to look back and say, wow, yes, that exactly matches what happened then.
Ah, I see. So it's about making testable connections.
Exactly. That's the power behind trying to get these specific testable insights it aims for.
Okay, let's unpack this then. So the core idea
Yeah.
is that significant life themes, they don't just pop up randomly. They show up as simple, elegant symmetries in the chart.
That's the fundamental assumption. Yeah, simple symmetries.
So instead of immediately jumping to, like, signs and houses, which is pretty standard,
Right, the usual starting point for many.
you're looking for these underlying structural patterns first. It's a completely different way in, isn't it?
Precisely. A different foundation, and absolutely central to this whole approach are midpoints.
Midpoints. Okay, define that for us.
So think of a midpoint as just the exact halfway point between any two planets or, other chart points like the ascendant or MC.
Just the mathematical halfway point.
Yeah. Exactly. But what's fascinating here in Uranian astrology is that if anything else, another planet, an angle lands right on or makes a strong aspect to that midpoint.
Yeah.
It instantly becomes this powerful focal point. It gains significance.
So it's like the connection point lights up.
Yeah. It's almost like the intersections or the connections between energies are seen as maybe even more telling than the individual energies just by themselves.
That focus on intersections.
Yeah.
That really is a big shift. So, okay, if midpoints define these crucial connection points, how do other parts of the chart talk to them? That's where the hard aspects fit in. They form the structure.
Exactly, you got it.
Right?
Uranian work really, really emphasizes what's called the hard aspect family.
The hard aspect family. Sounds intense.
Well, it refers to specific angles. We're talking 0 degrees conjunction, obviously then 45 degrees, 90 degrees, 135 degrees, and 180 degrees, the opposition.
Okay, so squares, oppositions, and those semi-squares and sesqui-squares.
Precisely. These are considered crucial because they align consistently in these very clue, repeating geometric designs. It's like a set of perfectly interlocking gears, you could say.
Right, very structural.
And that's a big departure from a lot of mainstream Western astrology, which often gives, a lot more airtime to the softer aspects, the trines and sextiles.
Yeah, which are usually seen as flowing or easy. This sounds more dynamic, maybe challenging.
Dynamic is a good word. They represent points of action, tension, manifestation. And this method also uses incredibly strict parameters for what even counts as an aspect.
Ah, right. I heard about that. The orbs, right? They're tiny.
Extremely tight. This focus on clarity extends to the orbs, yes. Uranian astrology often uses orbs under 1 degree, sometimes even tighter.
Wow, less than a degree. That's super precise.
It is. Think of it like tuning an old radio to a very specific station frequency. If the signal isn't crystal clear, if that orb isn't incredibly tight, they basically consider it static background noise.
So no fudging the aspects.
Exactly. This precision is really critical because the whole point is to avoid vague readings. It ensures that when a pattern is identified, it's undeniably potent and clear. That's a huge distinguishing feature compared to other methods where orbs can be, much wider.
Makes sense. Precision leads to clarity. Okay, so we have these precise angles, these midpoint focal points.
Yeah.
But how do you actually see all this? Visualizing these symmetries on a standard chart sounds tricky.
It would be, yeah, which is why they developed a specific tool.
And that's the 90-degree dial, right?
Huh.
Here's where it gets really interesting, I think, for practical use.
Yes, the 90-degree dial is, well, pretty ingenious, actually. It takes the entire 360-degree zodiac
The whole circle.
and it compresses it visually into a 90-degree format. So effectively, you're stacking all the cardinal signs together, all the fixed signs together, all the mutable signs together onto this smaller dial.
Okay, that sounds a little complex to picture initially.
It might sound it, but it's brilliant in practice because it allows you to instantly see all those crucial hard aspects, the 0, 45, 90, 135, 180-degree connections just at a glance. Those hidden symmetries we talked about that just pop right out.
So it's a visual shortcut for finding those hard aspect patterns.
Exactly. It makes them obvious.
So once you've got this dial, how does it actually help you find those, what talks to what connections you mentioned?
Okay, imagine you have this dial maybe on your screen or even a physical one. You can spin it, rotate it to line up with any specific planet in your chart or an angle like the ascendant or even a calculated midpoint.
Right, you set the pointer.
You set the pointer, and once you do that, you just look around the dial, you immediately see what other points or planets are lining up exactly at those key hard aspect degrees, 0, 45, 90, 135, or 180 relative to your starting point.
So it just shows you instantly.
Instantly reveals those precise geometric connections. It tells you what talks to what. It's kind of like having, I don't know, X-ray vision for the chart's underlying structure.
That's a cool analogy.
Yeah.
And from seeing those connections, you get these things called planetary pictures.
Yes. Those connections form planetary pictures.
And they have this specific notation, right?
They-
A equals B/C.
That's the one. A equals BC. And it's read as A equals the midpoint of B and C, or sometimes A is on the BC midpoint.
Okay. Can you give an example?
Sure. The source material gives the example of Sun equals Mars/Pluto. So Sun equals Mars/Pluto.
Sun, Mars, Pluto. What might that mean?
Well, an interpretation might be something like describing intense drive or really powerful transformative vitality.
Okay, intense drive, transformative vitality. I could see that from Sun, Mars, Pluto.
Right. Think of it like a very specific energetic code. It might describe a key theme or maybe even a pivotal moment where, you feel this undeniable urge to maybe completely reinvent your career or push through some huge obstacle.
Like a formula for a specific kind of energy or event potential.
Exactly. A concise formula describing a combined energy.
Okay, so that's identifying the patterns. How does Uranian astrology then use this for, like, timing or forecasting?
Good question. For forecasting, it heavily relies on solar arc directions.
Solar arcs. Right, that's used in other types of astrology too, but maybe differently here.
It's a core technique here. The method involves moving the entire birth chart forward in time, and it moves it by the exact arc, the distance the sun has traveled since the moment you were born.
Okay, and the sun moves about a degree a day. So for directing.
It averages out to approximately 1 degree per year of life. It's a very precise, measurable movement for the whole chart structure.
So let me see if I get this right. When a planet or an angle in your chart moved forward by that solar arc,
Your directed planet or angle.
when that directed point hits one of your natal midpoints or one of those planetary pictures like the Sun, Mars, Pluto we just talked about, that's a strong indicator that related events or themes are likely to activate, to come to the forefront around that time.
That's exactly the principle. It's about seeing when those natal potentials get triggered by the steady progression of the solar arc. It allows for pretty specific timing.
Right, you can really see when things might happen.
Yes. And, as you get deeper into it, some practitioners also choose to incorporate something else. 8 optional trans-Neptunian points, or TNPs.
Ah, the hypothetical planets. I've heard names like Hades, Zeus.
That's them. Cupido, Hades, Zeus, Kronos, Apollon, Admetos, Vulcanus, Poseidon. They have specific keywords and concepts.
Okay, optional, you say.
Very much optional. Think of them as potentially adding extra layers of symbolic detail or nuance. But it's really important to stress you absolutely do not need them to practice this method effectively.
So you can get clear results without them.
Absolutely. Many highly skilled Uranian practitioners use only the traditional planets, sun, moon, angles, nodes, and still get incredibly clear, precise results. The core is the midpoints and hard aspects. The TMPs are, well, extra seasoning, maybe.
Good to know. So just to kind of wrap up the main differences here between Uranian and maybe more mainstream Western astrology.
Yeah, let's recap.
It seems like, number one, geometry first, The story or interpretation follows that structure.
Definitely. Structure dictates meaning.
2, huge emphasis on those hard aspects.
Yeah.
0, 45, 90, 135, 180. Much more than, say, trines or sextiles.
Correct. The dynamic aspects are key.
3, uses those very, very tight orbs, under a degree, for extreme clarity.
Precision is paramount.
4, midpoints are absolutely central. They're not just some extra technique, they're foundational.
Foundational, exactly.
And finally, 5, there's that optional use of the hypothetical points, the TNPs, but again, not essential to get deep insights.
You've nailed the core distinctions. It's a fascinating reorientation, as you said.
It really is. So, okay, what does all this mean for, someone listening who's curious? Maybe they want to explore this different way of looking at a chart, this blueprint perspective.
Right. If you're intrigued and maybe want to dip your toe in, see what it's like.
Yeah. Where do you even start?
Well, here's a simple kind of step-by-step way to begin, drawing directly from how practitioners approach it. First, obviously, you'll need some astrology software. One that supports calculating midpoints accurately, or ideally, has a 90-degree dial feature built in.
Okay, software check.
Second, maybe just focus your attention initially on a few key points in your own chart. The MC, your midheaven, the ascendant, your sun, and your moon.
The big 4 angles and lights. Makes sense.
Yeah, start there. Spin the 90-degree dial, if you have one, to each of those points one by one, and just list any exact hits other planets or points landing right on those 0, 45, 90, 135, 180-degree marks. Remember, keep the orb tight, around 1 degree or less.
Got it. Look for tight, hard aspects to the main points.
Third, from that list, try to identify maybe your top 3 planetary pictures. Which connections seem the tightest? Or maybe repeat. Which ones just feel striking or resonant to you?
Find the most prominent patterns.
Exactly. Then, fourth step, add the timing element. Solar arc. Check if any of your directed angles or maybe your directed sun or moon are hitting those same key natal planetary pictures this year, or maybe in the recent past or near future.
See if those core patterns are being activated now.
Right. And then finally, step 5, and this is purely optional if you're feeling adventurous, and only if it seems clearly relevant to a specific question you have, you could test maybe 1 or 2 of those hypothetical TMP points. See if adding, say, Hades or Zeus to a picture clarifies anything specific for you. But start simple.
Okay, that sounds like a manageable way to experiment. Focus on the core, use the tools, look for tight patterns, check timing.
That's the essence of getting started.
This Uranian astrology really does seem to offer, like you said, a blueprint view of the chart.
Yeah.
Almost like looking at an architectural schematic of your life's underlying structure.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's often less focused on the elaborate surface story and more on revealing that underlying design, the core geometry. And its ultimate goal, really, is to try and produce specific, testable statements, things you can actually validate against your real-life experiences.
How does it do that?
By rigorously prioritizing that symmetry through the midpoints, focusing intently on those hard aspects, and relying on these concise, clear formulas or planetary pictures, it aims for repeatable observations.
Specific, testable, repeatable. That's quite a different emphasis.
It is.
So here's a final thought then for you listening. As you go about your day, maybe just consider, what kind of symmetries might be hidden in your own life's blueprint? What patterns might be waiting there, needing maybe just a different kind of lens, a new way of looking to actually be revealed?
Something to ponder. What geometry underlies your own experience?